Welcome to the Crawlcast. I'm your host, George Krawczak, and today I'm talking about what is going on in this country and if it is a scary time and if we can find any unity in this. Because something just happened that really shook me to my core and I think is terrifying. Because in, in a minute here, I'm going to show you one of the scariest pictures I have ever seen. And if you like this type of content, make sure to hit that subscribe button like it owes you money. Now let's get started. So look at the picture on the top right, and I'm going to keep this on during the whole video so you can see it and it can remind you. So if you look at the bottom, there was a resolution that was passed to saying we condemn the murder of the two Minnesota lawmakers. And every single Republican voted for it and every single Democrat voted for it. Then at the top, if you look at that, is a resolution condemning the assassination of Charlie Kirk. Every single Republican voted for it. 95 Democrats voted for it, and 96 Democrats voted not for it, meaning 58 voted against it, and 38 voted present, meaning they're not taking a side on the. So, again, I just want to make sure what this vote is clear. What this vote is saying: 58 Democrats are saying they cannot condemn the assassination of Charlie Kirk, and 38 says that they cannot either condemn it or support it. They cannot do either. That is scary to me because this has just been flown to a new level, in my opinion. Because look at the bottom here. Those lawmakers were killed by yes, it was someone that said that Tim Walz told them to do it. It was an insane person. But every single Republican voted for condemning their killing and their assassination. And I was talking about this with a friend because this was kind of interesting to me because this friend told me they were like, "Oh, George, Republicans deserve a lot of credit because even though these people were Democrats, Republicans condemned their assassination." And I was like, "No, Republicans don't deserve any credit for that because condemning someone's assassination is the basic level of human dignity that you can offer, saying it is not okay to assassinate people. That is literally the bare minimum you can do. And Democrats can't even say that. And like I said, that's scary to me. Because this resolution, I want to make sure this is clear what it's not doing. It's not saying you support Charlie Kirk. It's not saying you like Charlie Kirk. It's not saying you would have voted for Charlie Kirk if he ran for office. It's not saying you support every idea or you even support what he was doing on campus, which was speaking to college students. This resolution is saying we condemn the assassination of an American citizen who was killed for exercising their First Amendment right to free speech and talking to people on the other side. That is what we cannot condemn. A majority of Democrats can't condemn it. 95 did, 96 did not. And to me, that is very, very worrying for a country. Because that just says, because keep in mind, Charlie Kirk, he didn't hold political office. He did not have any sort of power. He was just a private American citizen that was debating people and saying, okay, here are my ideas, here's your ideas, let's see who's right and let's see who's wrong, and let the people decide. That's what he is doing. And a majority of House Democrats cannot condemn that. That is a deeply, deeply scary thing for this country. And quite frankly, I don't even know if there can be unity for that. Because how can you not do the basic fundamental thing and condemn someone's assassination? And can I tell you why they can't do it? Because they kind of like it. Because here's the dirty little secret. Now they can say, look, here's someone who is convincing people not to vote for us. Here is someone that didn't vote for us. And now we at least got one vote out of the way, and maybe we got tons of other votes because this person was hurting our party. So we either feel neutral that he was assassinated or happy that he's assassinated. And that is a deeply terrible, horrible thing in America today. If you are either celebrating or you feel neutral about it. Because I'm not asking you to say you like Charlie Kirk. You can disagree on every single thing he stood for. And that is completely acceptable. What is not acceptable is saying, oh, Charlie Kirk is assassinated. Yay! Or saying, oh, you want me to condemn an assassination? No, I can't do that because that's too much to condemn an assassination. And keep in mind, These are not fringe radical people on, like, there's always the nameless, faceless guy on Twitter that says the most insane thing. And you're like, oh, well, that's just some nut that has like 10 followers and we can ignore them. These are sitting elected members in the United States Congress that cannot do it. And that is the scariest thing to me, because this has always been the big debate on American politics, is not what you do with the members of Congress, or not what you do with the party leaders, but what you do with the radicals. Because those are the people who do the most insane, crazy things. And that's why when you look at elected officials, they usually do the right thing, like condemning assassinations. It's only the far radicals of each party that are like, yeah, I'm kind of pro assassination. We should have more of this. And that is a scary thing in this country. Now I'll tell you more about the radicals. So I want to tell you the story about two people, okay? The first one is a Republican congressman who was a radical. So I don't know if you guys remember Steve King. Sorry, I'm pulling up my phone because I want to make sure I get his statement correct. He was a congressman from Iowa that was in Congress from 2003 from 2013 to 2021. He did an interview with Vanity Fair, and this is what he said. Give me 1 second here. This is what he said. Oh, I'm sorry, it was New York Times. So he did an interview January 2019 at the New York Times. And this was what he said. White nationalists, white supremacists, Western civilization. How did that become offensive? And then when he was referring to the Democrat-controlled House, you could look over there and think the Democrat Party is no country for white men. Those were racist comments. And you know what happened? The minority leader, Kevin McCarthy, stripped him of all of his committee assignments. The Republican Party immediately stopped all financial commitments to him, completely, not bankrupted him, but completely stopped giving him any financial support for any of his reelect. Then the Republican Party primaried him, meaning they were risking losing his safe Republican seat to a Democrat because they're like, these views are too radical and too unacceptable in our party that we are kicking you out of our party. We are kicking you out of Congress because we would rather have a Democrat hold that seat than have a racist Republican hold it. That's what the Republican Party did. And then if you watch my previous video on Charlie Kirk, there was a guy who said, who talked to Charlie Kirk and said, gay people do not belong in the conservative movement. And you know what Charlie Kirk said? If that is something you believe, you do not belong in the conservative movement. So the most radical members of the right wing or of the Republican Party, they have been kicked out and ostracized, and nobody likes them. No one wants them in the halls of Congress. Nobody wants them there. And Republicans are even willing to sacrifice votes. And like I said, they're willing to lose Steve King's seat if that meant getting him out of Congress, because those views are unacceptable in society. Now let's look at the Democrat radicals. Look at Ilhan Omar. So what she said is that Charlie Kirk's legacy needs to be left in the dustbin of history. She was laughing and smiling when talking about him, saying Frankenstein, he created his own Frankenstein's monster that killed him. And she retweeted a post saying effectively that Charlie Kirk deserved to die. She is a complete radical. And let me tell you how she's been treated. In 2019, Nancy Pelosi was Speaker of the House. So Donald Trump was president. So the most powerful, highest elected Democrat in the country in 2019, Speaker of the House Nancy Pelosi, appeared on the cover of Rolling Stones with Ilhan Omar. And no Democrat refuses to condemn her because they say, okay, her votes are more important than her values. Or, on even the worst side is, they agree with them. And so this, to me, is the scariest thing. And I don't know if you can have unity with that. Because look at this. Again, look at this picture. A majority of House Democrats could not condemn Charlie Kirk's assassination. And Charlie Kirk, again, wasn't a political office. He did not hold any office. He did not have any power. He was just a private citizen like you and me having conversations about politics. And that's a scary thing because that says, okay, if you're a private citizen that wants to have a conversation with anybody about politics and someone shoots you for that, there's one major party or a majority of them will not say that that is wrong and will not say that that is unacceptable and will not say you shouldn't do that in our country. And that is a scary thing. And I want unity. I want to have free debates. I want to do what Charlie Kirk is doing. And quite frankly, I'm speaking with some people, and I may actually do some host some events like Charlie Kirk did and speak to people. But this is a scary thing when you get shot over free speech, over free debate, and again, at a minimum, they at a minimum they cannot condemn it, and at worst they celebrate your assassination. And I just that's struggling me to unify because I want people to just I don't want to say pretend like Charlie Kirk was never assassinated because his memory cannot die with him. But I want people to go back to normal and speak to people and say, hey, look, here's my ideas, here's your ideas, let's battle them out, and then the people can decide who's right and who's wrong and not get killed over it. But now there's people thinking that it's okay and people not willing, again, to condemn it. Look at the votes. That's not something made up. That's not some conspiracy. Those are the members of Congress. That's not some fringe, like, stupid person on Twitter with 10 followers. These are the mainstream members of Congress, a majority of them. And that is a scary thing for our country. And that is a scary thing because, like I said, it's anyone, because Charlie Kirk was just one of us. He was just a guy that spoke about politics. And I'm sure there's many other people out there that speak about politics, whether it's to your family, to your friends, maybe even to your country. And this is them saying, if someone shot you, that is a good thing or even a net neutral thing. And that is unacceptable in society. And that is the terrifying thing about trying to find unity. Because I want to try finding common ground. I'm willing to debate anybody, any leftist, any moderate out there. And that's what this conservative movement out there is. We're pro free speech and we love everybody. Even if you sin, we hate the sin, but we love the person. And that is the scary thing, is because, again, when a Democrat gets assassinated, every single Republican can do that. And that should be expected. When a Republican is assassinated, every single Republican, but only or less than half of the Democrats can. So I just want to say, to me, this is the scariest thing I can see. And I don't know how there can be unity when, again, a majority of elected Democrats, elected, these are supposed to be the best of the Democrats, not the fringes, not the random guys. These are elected public officials, a majority of them. And so this is a really scary thing for the country. And I don't know how we're supposed to go forward like this. And that's what's heartbreaking to me, is because any Democrat, if any of them gets attacked or assassinated, I will be the first one to condemn it and say this is wrong and no one should do it. And again, like I said, it's just heartbreaking because Charlie Kirk was a hero and a mentor to me. And seeing him go hurts a lot. And seeing these celebrations and the unwillingness to condemn it and the pretending like this is acceptable in society. No, you should not celebrate someone getting assassinated for their political views. That's unacceptable. So let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Like I said, I've sent a lot of emails to people. I'm hoping to have a couple of things in the work. And I'm hoping to maybe grow, unify, and unite this country. I don't know how to do it, though, but hopefully we can start healing soon. But this is a scary thing, and this is unacceptable. So if you like this type of content, make sure to hit that subscribe button like it owes you money. And like I said, we got a country to save. We'll make sure Charlie Kirk's legacy lives on. And this is a truly terrifying thing where it's not the radicals, it's the mainstream. And again, Republicans kick out radicals and say you're not welcome here and you're not accepted, whereas Democrats invite them in because they believe it gets them votes and gets them power. And I believe there should be morals above power. And I think that also costs Republicans a lot because they put morals above power, because that's why you have so many splits, because so many people believe so many different things and they're like, hey, this is what I believe and this is why you're wrong. Where the Democrats almost always vote in unison because they know how much the value power is. And like I said, I think you need to put morals above power, even if it costs you a House seat or an election or a Senate seat. And this is just, it's not right. You should always condemn any assassination of a political opponent, and this is unacceptable in society. So, like I said, I'm hopefully going to make a couple of big announcements soon, and We got a country to save, plain and simple. We need to change the minds of people and change the culture where it is not publicly acceptable to celebrate someone's assassination. So I'll see you on the next one.